So this phase talks about, I just want to show you the cycle, the Neap and the Spring cycle, in just in this form that shows, the time versus the sediment transport velocity as we go through the Neap and the Spring. So now, during the Neap, I remember I said that we have this, the moon and the sun. The moon, the sun, and the earth are at 90 degrees orientation to each other, and that's when we have the lowest pull on the earth. So during this period, because we have the lowest pull on the earth and we have the lowest tidal force, in terms of sediment transport velocity, you're going to have smaller flows, smaller depositional velocity, and that's because of lower gravity pull on the ocean water. In the spring cycle, because again, like I said, the sun, moon, and earth are all aligned in a straight line, we have the strongest tidal force on the earth, or high tidal range. And during that period, you're going to have higher velocity, or higher flow velocity, and higher average sediment sizes moved around. So this slide is just to kind of show you what, typically, if I'm looking at an outcrop, a section, right? How can I, you know, separate or identify the Neap tidal bundles, and how are they different from the spring tidal bundles, right? I'm going to be showing you an outcrop example in a moment, but this is just like a sketch showing you what it is. So these periods where, like I said, where you have, very small, thinner, bed sets with all these mud drapes on this Foreset plains, you see how they're all linked to the Neap tidal cycle. That's when you have the lowest pull on the ocean waters. In the spring tidal cycles, you see that the thickness of the individual, faucets is more compared to that of the Neap tidal bundle. Okay, so you have thicker tidal bundles during the spring cycle than during the Neap cycle. All right, so let's just take a look at some outcrops. Show some examples of these sketches on outcrops. All right, so this is an example showing like what I call earlier on the Neap and the spring cycles on the same outcrop. This is a very cool example. So you see that if this is like a zoomed in version, a zoomed in portion of this same section in red, you see that these bed sets, faucets are thicker than this other faucets, and these are all indication of the amount of tidal force we had during that period. So these are the spring tidal bundles, while these thinner ones are the Neap tidal bundles.